This is Mr. Blue and Mr. Blue's Print Shop. Today I'm exposing some screens and I wanted to talk about how I go about putting them together. And one of the big keys in having a good, easy print process is doing this part correctly. And one of the big things to make sure you do is have a standard procedure. So I'm going to go about how I go do my standard procedure. So as you can look here, the first thing I have is I have this blue tape right here. So this is where the screen sits itself. Now, what this allows me to do is when I go to screen on, as such, it's going to be in the same spot. This helps. Having consistency in this stage makes alignment so much easier. The next thing I want to do is now we're going to put the film on. So here's the film for my base white. I'm going to put it right here. And what I like to use is this here handy dandy T-square. And what this T-square is going to allow me to do is I have a mark here, which is usually where the center of my screens are going to go. I plop it here. And what I have for mine is on this side, it marks some centimeters. And I always put the top little crosshair at 25 centimeters down. And then I line up the bottom one. There we go. Get ourselves a little bit of tape just to hold it in place. And between this blue outline of the tape and my little crosshair, now every film I put down for this print job is going to be in the same position on the exposure unit. I'm going to go ahead and take my 125 mesh screen, plop it here, get it all lined up. Now I'm ready to put my little vent things. This here, by the way, this is what allows air to kind of flow better so the suction works properly. There we are. Close it up. Lock it in place. See you in a moment. So on my exposure unit, I have this black film. This is basically like scuba diving material that's airtight. And this allows what the suction is. Now this makes a good, what this allows is to keep the light from bouncing around, causing the image to be more difficult to use. So I'll go ahead and turn it on. Put that bubble down. Sorry for the noise, it just, that has an air pump, vacuum pump, to suck all the air. So we get the air. There we go. And for what I do, for the orange emulsion, I go for 1 minute in exposure time. I'll see you in a moment. Alright, now that that's done exposing, let's go ahead and pop this guy out. There we are. Move these out of the way. There we go. Kill that up. And I'll bring it out to the blowout booth. When you come to this, doing the screens, first thing you want. So how emulsion works is once it gets wet, the chemical reaction stops. UV light hits the areas. So as you can see, where light hit, you see it's darker. This fully cures or vulcanizes the emulsion. So this doesn't get blown out with water. What you see is now is what's being unexposed, and that's the image we want to have be printed. This is the base, so that's why it's a little bit more full, and this is on a 125 mesh screen. So we give this a little moment to soak, and then we'll just go and do a little time lapse of me blowing this out. Okay, so as you saw in the little time lapse there, I went and got all the stuff blown out that needed where the ink's going to go through. So we can kind of take a quick scan. Everything here. Oh, everything looks good. You want to make sure you get everything blown out. Even your little crosshairs. This is what's going to make it way easier for aligning, especially if you have multiple colors. Now, Something to keep in mind when you're blowing out a screen to get what's unexposed blown out. First rule of thumb: get both sides wet first, and then do all the blowout on the back of the screen. Because the back of the screen, the emulsion's tougher, so the water isn't going to deteriorate the image as if it was on the front. So when you're going through this, be very careful, but be very quick. Because the longer it sits there, the more and more detail. If you need to get it wet, allow about 10-15 seconds of water to soften up as much as the emulsion that's necessary, and just keep blowing it down with either the shower function on a hose or a sprayer, or sometimes I like to use my power washer when that thing wants to work. Okay, see you in the next bit. Okay, here's our final screen setting out to dry. Now, when you're in the drying process, one thing you want to do is just get a fan to blow on it, and this will help kind of get the dry quicker. The longer it stays wet, it tends to deteriorate the emulsion, because when the emulsion's wet, it wants to break down. There are certain emulsions out there that really fight against that, but the stuff I use, you just have to let it dry quickly. It's not necessary in my shop for me to re-expose, put this outside where the sunlight hits to cure it, but it doesn't hurt. Sometimes you just need to allow it to want to be strong, so the emulsion doesn't, the ink and the sliding doesn't deteriorate. Now, this emulsion I put on here is actually pretty nice for what it is. It's Ulano Orange. I'll take a picture of the bucket here in a moment. This is the emulsion I use for my screens on a day-to-day basis. It's great for all plastisol inks. Definitely do not use water-based inks on this one. I give this guy a great 4 out of 5 stars, and it's just usefulness. Any problem I had with this one is usually always chalked up to user error. But Ulano Orange is what you want to use, is what I use, and I suggest you all use it as well. It's super easy to use. There's no catalyst necessary. It's literally pour into the trough and put on your screens. It's good to go. Something I want to note when exposing screens is you want to be in an enclosed building. You want to not have any UV or sunlight coming in that'll mess with the screens. So what I have in my setup, it's super nice. I got a great open spot, and all I need is just my normal just lights out of the way over there. You don't need to be in complete darkness. You don't need to be in a red room or anything like that. It is simply just, hey, just have the doors closed and, have access to your washing station. I hope that answers any future questions on, hey, how should I have my setup be? We're all good. So bada bing, bada boom, this is our base coat. Please, if you like what I've done here, please subscribe. And if you want more information, just tell me down in the comments what you want me to show. Y'all have a great day now. Bye-bye.